I'm going to show you two techniques to learn vocabulary fast in any language. Vocabulary is very important in language learning simply because if you don't know the words, you will not understand the language and you won't be able to speak if you don't know the words that you need to use. So you need to learn as many words as possible, as fast as possible, right? So there are two main techniques I use. I'm going to show you how you too can use them to learn vocabulary fast so that you can understand and speak any language in a reasonable amount of time. The techniques are memorization with mnemonic associations. This is a very powerful memory technique that memory athletes use. And I learned this technique a while ago from one of these memory champions from a memorization course. And my language learning got way more efficient since then. I could already speak English then. I was learning German, and since I started doing that, since I started using that specific technique, my learning got way faster and more efficient. So I highly recommend you master this technique because it will save you a lot of time and give you results much sooner, results you want. So, first one is that memorization with mnemonic associations. And the second one is using word families and basically reviewing a lot of words, a lot of vocab fast using groups of similar words. That one is simple. You simply need a vocabulary list like this one, and you need it ordered alphabetically so that you get a list of the words ordered in a way in which each word is next to similar words. So you learn the whole family of words, and that way it'll be much easier to review them all in groups. Review lots of words, same word or same different variations of the same word. Often it's slightly different, but you keep seeing the same word in different variations. So yes, learning in context is good. I do that as well. I review what I learn, the vocab by reading and listening. But that's all. If you just want to learn vocab by reading and listening, it's going to be very slow. So you can make your reading and listening much more comprehensible by doing this first. If you do this exercise regularly and you memorize and review lots of vocabulary, reading is going to be much easier, and you will be able to read faster. You will have to look up fewer words when you're reading, and you will understand more when you're listening as well. So you'll be able to do it longer while understanding more. And in general, it will make reading and listening much easier, much more effective, and more enjoyable, of course. So combine both, right? It's not either or. A lot of people in the comments complain that that's language is more than memorizing words. I know that, and if you watch the whole video, you knew that I know that. That's why I combine methods, right? So memorization with associations, learning words in word families, because it's groups of similar words alphabetically, and then reviewing by reading and listening. So I'm going to just show you the way I do it. Memorization with associations is relatively simple. Once you learn to do it, you need to be able to create mental images of the words and to create some sort of interaction between both words. So we need the target language word, something that sounds like the target language word, and then the meaning. Let's start here. This is where I left last time. So the way I do this is just I do this exercise, I memorize, and I just learn new words. I just go fast, and then I go back to the beginning, to the very beginning. I just review the list so that I quickly review the vocab from previous that I memorized in previous sessions. Again, if you think just reading the words in context is better, you're wrong, because for each one of these, for you to see each one of these words, Here you see that elimde and elimdekiye, elimden, elim, and you see it over and over and over. But for you to see this in context enough times, you need a lot of reading. And if you read it really slowly, you will not be able to do a lot of reading. So it's a self-perpetuating problem. You can't read much because you don't know many words, and you don't know many words because you can't read much. So let's first learn a lot of words this way to then be able to read more and learn more by reading. All right. So yeah, we the way you do it is this: you visualize the meaning first. So visualize a hand in this case, and then something that sounds like this. So it's a woman's name. So you could visualize that, or anything with an L sound. And you create some sort of mental image that includes a hand and whatever you visualize that sounds like this. And you create some sort of interaction between them. You have to actually visualize it, right? So if you're not good at imagining things, you should start working on that because you will need it for this exercise. So something or someone that sounds like Ellie. I know a lot of Ellies, so that and hand. Yeah, I can create some mental images with that. And then we just keep going forward. And the rest of the words, everything that's related to hand here, we don't need to create that because doing that with tens of thousands of words will be extremely slow. You can do it with hundreds of words, a day maybe even, but a week easily. 100 words a day of this, relatively, it's an hour of your time. But of course, if there are 3, 5, 10 words that are related, you don't have to do it with all of them. Just do it with one of them. So we create a mental image for this, and then okay, this is half. So to half is difficult because it's not very tangible, right? So we're gonna skip that. So we'll do okay. Stripped. This one's more. This one's easier to. Obviously, it's easier to visualize. So what we'll do is visualize stripped, whatever comes to mind first, and something that sounds like limb, and something that sounds like den. Denmark, maybe, and limb, lemon, lemon, Denmark, strip club. Create a mental image with that. And then you see, into my hand, it's the same roots, so you don't need to do it with them. And I'm doing it slowly now because I'm explaining things, because otherwise I would have done already 100 of them. 100 words, I mean, not associations, but like hand, more hand, like all of these are learnable in context later. So you just quickly review until you find some other type of word. And keep going. These are names. This is manually, but again by hand, so it's related also. Hands. See? This also hands, hands, hands. Just with one mental image. So how many? I guess in Turkish, to have is related to hand. Then it makes sense. So you have something in your hand. You could sometimes you can just find the logic there. If you to memorize data like you raw data, um, there are different ways of doing it, and just sheer repetition is one of them. It's the least effective. Then there's mnemonic associations, which is way more effective, but you need to practice it. And then there's logic. That's how you learn math, or that's how you anything science related. You learn it with logic, right? You learn how it works, and so once you know a root word, then everything that's related to that from the same family. Okay, to have is related to hand in Turkish apparently. So you then yeah you have something in your hand. You can now visualize that, and it's all. Now you're at 50 here. Somehow 50 sounds also like or similar to hand. So just visualize someone with 50 hands or someone with like a 50. How do you visualize 50 though? Just the number, and you have the number in your hand. A big shiny number. If you make the images shiny, it also works better. Um, so yeah, it's 50. Elm is Apple apparently. It's Elmo from Sesame Street. Visualize that. Is that he? I don't know. Visualize him eating an apple, and then eating diamonds as well, because apparently diamonds and apples are similar in Turkish. Maybe you can visualize him eating diamonds and apples. This is a name. Okay. This one, maybe elves from A Lord of the Rings, saying goodbye, waving, like really goofily waving goodbye. Convenient. This is convenience store. Maybe you can visualize it like that. Like elves waving goodbye from a convenience store. So very weird, but it works if you actually visualize it. Um, MD suck. Um, MD like sounds almost like medic, especially here. Medic suck. Do with that whatever you want. Uh, labor. Imagine. Yeah, so labor. You can visualize a bunch of people working in a factory, for example. And Meg, like the megalodon from the terrible Statham film, or the Family Guy character, and then working in a blue collar factory with a bunch of like, yeah, you get the idea, right? You just have to. Now I'm doing it fast, but you have to mentally like, actually see the images, otherwise it won't work. And then you simply go to the beginning and you quickly review the vocab, and you can do this very fast if you have trained your reading speed. Yeah, you just go. Your eyes should. I'll make a tutorial on speed reading at some point, but yeah, you basically need to see the whole image, like the whole sentence or word in one go. Instead of doing this, you look at the middle and you see the whole thing, even with a sentence. So you can just jump, or even like look here in the middle of, because it's just two, one word here and two or three words here. So you can just look at the middle and see everything. So you can go really fast. And if you just do this from the beginning with words that you don't know, obviously you won't remember them. But if you do it with words you've been memorizing, and because the words are all similar to each other, you can do it very fast, and it still works as a review, right? This is how fast you can. Yeah, this is how fast you can read. You can review words if you've trained your reading speed. And yeah, I reviewed more than 100 in a couple of minutes. So you can do thousands a day of reviewing. And of course, just doing that won't be enough. But if you do that after, and you review them today and then tomorrow and daily for a couple of weeks after having created the mnemonic associations, and then you also listen to them or you read them in context. Listen is probably better, because it saves you time, because you can listen while doing something else. You will remember almost all of the words very quickly. You understand them. Won't be able to use them actively yet, most of them. But that's what language islands are for. That's another exercise. But just with this, you learn enough vocab to understand pretty much anything in the language, all right?